What's up, guys? This is Worse. We're going to be reviewing
Jurassic Park.
Exactly.
This is like one of the pillars of film for me. I mean, next to like as far as childhood movies. I mean, like because I've told you before, I didn't see like Indiana Jones till I was like in junior high, but this one I saw
From like
like 5 years old, and I'm really
Yeah.
surprised my parents let me like watch it, considering that people are getting eaten and ripped apart, and you don't really see it, but I mean it implies that they're getting ripped apart.
And for me, like, I think this is what got me into dinosaurs, was this film. Like, it had to be. Like, and then I was obsessed. And then I was obsessed. And then I was obsessed with Godzilla, and it just only escalated. And all these things I'm still obsessed with as an adult. So this movie is just one of those, like, a mark in my history of, like, what I love now. Since this is a classic movie and it came out in '93, it was being filmed pretty much the same month I was born, which is awesome to find out. So, just as a warning, guys, if you're like one of the very few people that haven't seen Jurassic Park, one big warning: we're gonna go into major spoilers. Like, if you haven't seen this film, definitely treat yourself to this movie because it is fantastic. Let's go through the cast.
Sam Neill as Dr. Grant. He starts off not liking kids. I mean, for those of you that have read the book, the Dr. Grant in the book, he's actually very fond of kids. And I guess Steven Spielberg decided to make him not very fond of kids so that he would get more attached to them later in the movie. You know, the scene where he's threatening the boy with the raptor claw, and he's, you know, telling him that, you know, the kid's like, it looks like a 6-foot turkey, and he's, you know, kind of gets offended and you know, comes up and tells these gruesome things. He basically traumatizes this child, and
that kid his face never changed after that.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum as Ian Malcolm. Like, a lot of people like the movie just for him because he was such a memorable character. And he was really the comedy of the movie too. Witty banter and sarcasm is really, really key to this movie. And like, I mean, everything from like the chaos theory, like where he's in the car and he's like, "Now I'm sitting here by myself and talking to myself." And everything from like all the CGI work. I mean, this movie was groundbreaking for the animatronics and the CGI. I mean, most movies these days, they rely too heavily on CGI on a lot of things. I mean, CGI can still look good. I mean, there's still some good looking CGI these days, but I mean, Jurassic Park was like the grandfather of using CGI to its full potential. I mean, they did use it a little bit, like on like Terminator 2. I mean, like the T-1000, he was CGI, but like it wasn't used to this extent. Not to make full-fledged animals. And they did a really good job mixing the animatronic dinosaurs with the CGI.
It's dated, but like I'm like, man, this still looks good though. It's so realistic. Like, for its time, this was groundbreaking. And I can only imagine sitting in theaters in '93 and just being blown away. Yes, for its date, for its time, it looks so good.
Gary, I forgot his last name, but he was the lead sound designer for Jurassic. Ever since I've seen another dinosaur in another film, like if it's a T-Rex and it doesn't have the same roar, it doesn't sound right to me. They're believable. I mean, honestly, like when I think of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, that's what I think of it sounding like. Shout out, by the way, this is a little side note. If my sister's watching this, my big sister, Sky, this review's for you because I know how much, you know, you love this movie, and I just wanted to say, hey, love you, Sky.
Most of Spielberg's movies, like you said for Raiders, I mean, what makes that movie is the sound with mixed in with memorable sound effects.
Yeah.
And this is a big part of Jurassic Park for me is, you know, the sound.
Well, the soundtrack too.
Yeah.
It's like
by Johnny
Williams.
Williams.
It's one of those things. There's certain music that you can't unhear, like in Indiana Jones. When we did that review, like, well, we watched the movie, I was like, there's a little bit of Star Wars, like, in there, like, this with a little bit, so it sounded like Star Wars to me, and I know Star Wars music, like, so well. Jurassic Park has its own, like, it's not like anything else, and if you barely hear that piano starting, you think Jurassic Park, dinosaurs, people getting eaten, stuff like that, you know, and just, like, the beauty of an island, water, I just think of all those things at once. When I start to hear the soundtrack, like on Pandora or something, I think of the helicopter flying over the ocean immediately.
The first thing I think of, honestly, when I think of the theme is when they first see the brachiosaur and how amazed they are by it. That's honestly what I think of.
It's a good scene.
But I mean, it's overall. I mean, this movie has so much to it. I mean, it's gone down. It won a lot of awards when it came out. I'm not sure.
Your favorite in history.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it won. It came out a year or a month before I was born. So I mean, I'm glad that they re-released it in theaters a few years back. So I actually got to go and watch it in 3D, which was, I mean, fantastic. I loved it. And
like T-Rex and the Raptors are my favorite sections of these movies, and I love that they save them for the end. Like, they save them for the end of this. Like, the reveal of the Raptors was just so fantastic. Like, you know, the whole kitchen sequence and all that. Like, it's literally amazing. But there's a lot of great moments in this, like clever girl and all that. You know, like it really tried to show what these things can do, and I'm sure it's all based off real, like what they really did. You know?
Yeah, they tried to get as accurate as possible. They did try to do a lot of paleontology work, and they tried to. Another running joke, since you mentioned the Raptors, another running joke that they did was before they decided to do CGI, they had talked about Phil Tippett. He was one of the best stop motion animators. They were going to do stop motion for all the shots that showed the dinosaurs running and stuff. Steven Spielberg didn't want to, he wanted something that was more realistic. Told him that we're not going to use any go motion, and Phil Tippett was kind of like, he said, "I'm extinct," and that's when he gave the line in the movie, he gave it to Ian Malcolm, said, "We're out of a job, don't you mean extinct?" He gave it to...
Film is really well thought out. Spielberg did an amazing job. It's groundbreaking. I'm glad we have Jurassic World on our mantle. It's its own amazing universe.
It's all built up very well. You care about these characters. You care about what happens to them, and you're invested in them. And one of the strongest points of this movie is the first half, where I love that first half where it's trying to be a really realistic depiction of how this park would come together. I love that aspect of it.
And it's not boring.
Not at all. This reminded me of why I have this on my top 15 favorite movies, is because it has such an identity.
It really does.
You know exactly what movie this is. Any scene you see, any me and him were saying, any picture you would take of a scene.
Of this TV, yeah.
This is a very memorable movie. There's a reason why this is a huge part of my childhood, because it was great. I mean, some stuff can be a part of your childhood and not be all that great, but this is great for a reason. I mean, it has
Spielberg is a mastermind. He was able to take a lot of different genres and smash it into one movie. You can let kids watch it and do the whole cover their eyes when the dude gets eaten off the toilet, because that's what my mom did. She pretty much took her own hand and did that to me. It's just so great, so beautifully done.
This, like I said, this is one of the pillars for my love of film. I mean, this and Star Wars were the two big movies that I loved as a child. That made me love not just movies, but just film in general. It made me want to learn more about it and learn how it was made. And I bought every minute of it when I was a kid. And it's still, like we've said multiple times, it still looks good even now. And it's just even the most, as far as best part of the movie for me will always be the whole in fight with the Raptors and the Tyrannosaurus Rex. That a lot, and
that is one of the best scenes in
him throwing
history.
Him throwing the raptor into the skeleton.
And I told these guys, Jurassic World, when they find that room with the banner that falls, that was just so that was the part when I was in theaters. Jurassic World, I was back in Jurassic Park again. I was like, this is so cool.
They're tipping their hat to the original. Yes. This movie will always have its place in film history, and it'll always be one of the forefathers that got me into film and what caused me to love it so much.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. This was our review on Jurassic Park, one of my favorite movies of all time.
As well as why didn't I have it in my top 15? I'll never know. But definitely check out more reviews and trailer reactions. We still do those. And below, somewhere, it's there. It's all over the channel. Just check it out. And leave a like, subscribe, become a worst friend today, and we'll be seeing you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.
Pastor Ted! Got him.
You didn't say the magic word.
Please!